I wanted to let you know that after the retreat, I had that same experience where people would tell me things that they had never told anyone before. Normally, I'm a podcast host and I ask people questions and they tell me the answers. But this was a little bit different in that, I sit down to coffee with someone who I don't know very well, and within 15 minutes, they're telling me something, and they're like, I've never told anyone this before. I'm like, why are you telling me?
Well, there you have it. So there is an exact example of how your voice is manifesting the world. You are a frequency pattern. And everything in that frequency pattern is either attracting what it needs towards it or polarizing what it does not need for its own journey. This is the power of the vocal transformation work. We're bringing into our lives what is unhealed within us, and those relationships that we're in are helping us to get to that place of healing, that place of that time where I say, once you stop doing the things you're doing because you no longer need to do it and you're forgiven. It's like the universe just looks at you and says, they got there, hallelujah, yay, right? Not they're going to be in the fiery pits of hell for all of eternity for all that stuff they did 5 years ago, right? That's not the conversation. So you came to a retreat where you infused your actual frequency with that radical honesty. People were sharing, you were sharing. You were able to open up and talk about things that maybe you just don't talk about with the everyday person. And that becomes part of your energy grid. And now when someone else is around you, they feel safe to tell you things because you are literally vibrating. It's safe to tell me things. I tell people things. I've been in a room where people have told me things. You can tell me things. And now those people don't realize that on a conscious level, on a mental level, but their physical body is being stirred by what frequencies you're sending out of your body. And this is how we're always interacting with each other. We are transmitters and receptors energetically. The mind and the words and all that actually gets in the way half the time. We're actually feeling each other on much deeper levels, right? So thank you for bringing me back. You're a wonderful podcast host because you're really good at bringing it back in. When I was in the middle of saying,
we don't know where this is going.
I was in the middle of saying that people tell me things that they haven't told anybody ever. And I can tell you story after story where in that moment, it's almost like a cork is being pulled out of a bottle and there's a release, right? And it either will open up to a wellspring of tears or breathing patterns change. And there's like a release, a big release in the body that creates space for something new to enter where that story was holding space, right? And what your voice is doing, or that their voices were doing, constantly manipulating and moving around that story that's sitting in there holding space, right? So now there's an opportunity of real growth. There's an opportunity of seeing life actually change in the physical form. And I have a few stories where just the sharing of it out loud moves it into movement where suddenly families were healed. Or that relationship, that person that calls you, you finally tell me the story, and then that person who you haven't spoken to in years randomly calls you because it's ready. It's time to heal it now, right? But it wouldn't have been unless you actually started to move it out of your system, right? It's magic, but it's not. I mean, it's life. I know the wonder and magic of what it means to be a human being because I experience my voice free all the time, and I help people come to these new awarenesses of what the power of their voice holds for their life all the time. And the power in it is why I do this work. I am tired of the narrative that humans are the problem, right? I'm really tired of hearing that we are the cancers of the world and that the world is going to end, or that we are going to be the end of this world, or that the earth is going to shake us off. I hear people rooting for the earth winning, right? And I know what we're capable of. All
Which is
humans,
it's really
human.
weird to think about that, like rooting against yourself almost.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because we live in a society that has filled us with self-loathing. When religion put God outside of us, we now feel unworthy of that connection. When God only wants us to embody him, her, it, and to create. We literally have the power of the creation inside of our body. We build the cities. and we tear them down. We are the Shiva. We are the Shakti. So if a human could step back into that power and understand what their capabilities truly are, this world is not coming to its end. It's coming to its rebirth. It's coming to its next level of life, because the human race itself is going through an evolution that will evolve the entire planet. So my work as a vocal transformation coach, and why for me the voice has been, it is my path. It was my destiny. It's my natural path. And there are many ways to find your power. But if your voice is not free to express its truest authentic expression, to speak the truth of the experience, to trust its instincts, its intelligences, and actually share that out in the world, someone else is driving this ship. You are following, right? And when you actually start to awaken your voice, it's not just your voice, it's not your ego, because your true authentic voice is not your ego. It is literally your soul's consciousness and the earth's consciousness working through you. You can only get to your full access of your voice when the ego is not driving the show. When literally you are a channel for the divinity that you are. So I have seen humans step into this power. I've helped for over a decade. Humans come into this power, and how their life changes, their money flow changes, their loving relationships change. They have children they never thought they could have. They build careers they never thought they could build. They heal all sorts of past trauma in their life that they have been to therapists for years and sat on couches and talked about, but still in their physical anatomy, the diseases are still there, right? Cured themselves of body illness that has come from long-term residual trauma that's sitting inside their body. When you witness this, when you actually live this, as I do, all you want is for every human being to remember, right?
Yeah.
Just remember who you are and wake up already. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Tell me what your heart truly desires. Because you're going to find that when your heart is able to speak for itself instead of your head, which has been programmed by your society, but when your heart, which is your all-knowing center of truth, can speak its truest desire, everybody's going to feel the same way. We all have the same desire, and we don't want to die. We don't want to see the death of creatures, and we don't want to see the death of rainforests, and we don't want to see life itself, which is so fragile and precious, destroyed at our hand. But there's something that is blocking us, and it is this early childhood trauma that the vocal transformation work helps you move through, right? That stands in your way of remembering that you yourself can be the change. Thank you, Gandhi. Like, be the change you want to see in the world. It's not that hard. It just takes confidence, courage, and a true belief in yourself, knowing who you are.